It is a brand new look for One Soccer today, featuring the yellow and blue and the same cast of characters that you have grown oh so familiar with. We say, hello everybody, welcome back. This is still One Soccer today, despite it being our first show for 2024. Lots has happened over our holiday hiatus, and we want to get you caught up to speed in case you missed it and offer some insights from the lads. We say happy 2024 to Oliver Platt, Jordan Wilson, and Gareth Wheeler. Let's talk a little Major League Soccer because the big news makers last week, exactly a week ago today, were CF Montreal announcing their new head coach. It was January 8th specifically when Laurent Courtois was named, of course, coming off a wonderful season with Columbus Crew 2, the MLS Next Pro Coach of the Year, and a new staff. Obviously, some familiarity. Wilfred Nancy, Courtois underneath him, and Columbus, some continuity. And the reaction on social media, Jordan Wilson, seemed to be generally pretty positive for the new gaffer with CF
Social
Montreal.
Media, positive.
It's a new year, new leaf.
Social media positivity. Yeah, I'll stay away from that. Wheels. We are. I feel like that's where people go to be negative mostly. Look, I thought the CF Montreal's side or the staff was going to go in a different direction. I was rooting for Pamadou Ka. I thought Bobby Simeonis. I thought Tommy Wilson Jr. at some points. I thought one of those three were maybe but maybe that was more of a wish for me. I'm pretty sure they were close to that. Rumors were told that Pamadou Ka interviewed for the job. Hopefully, well, obviously I know they went a different direction, but I think that they were really that close to get things done. I think you're looking at CF Montreal, is like, what do you want to expect from the season? Like, what are they trying to do? Are they trying to stay where they are? Are they trying to push to be a team that competes? Like, these are the questions that I hope that Courtois coming in really knows what he wants to do with this group and just not have an okay or moderate year. I hope that they go in one direction, and then hopefully in a positive one, because there's only 3 Canadian teams I really look at and monitor closely. And I'm hoping that the CF Montreal could be a team that plays progressive football, plays a certain style, brings in young players. And I'm sure Wheels or Ollie will talk more about that.
Yeah, Garrett, do you think this is the right fit for them? Because they really had anytime you change a coach, you have a chance at a little bit of a blank slate. Do you think this is the right direction for the right fit?
It is the absolute perfect fit for CF Montreal. A manager short on first team experience, 2 years in MLS, in MLS2 or MLS Next, successful years. He's, by all accounts, a very nice person, very outgoing, knows how to tap into young players, work both in MLS and abroad in the youth capacity. They hope that Courtois is the next Wilfred Nancy, another player that came in short on first team experience. Yes, he was on a first team staff, but very much an unknown. And if you look at CF, first of all, he comes from the Columbus Crew club, which is top-notch in terms of the way that it's run. Tim Bezbatchenko did consider Courtois for the job before he hired Nancy. Before that, Corey Ray a Canadian, has worked closely with Courtois as well. So he comes from a very good place. But look at CF Montreal's squad. Like, yes, they added Raheem Edwards, they added Ruan, 2 older players, but Vilsan, Ibrahim, Ofor, Opoku, Zuhir coming back. Go through this CF Montreal team. These are all young players, Saliba, that are going to have to continue to be molded for this team to take that next step. And what better individual to do that than a young manager that works with young players? And perhaps the only way that he's was held in higher regard than a Smirniotis or a Ka or someone like that. He also speaks French. It fits the market as well. So there's a lot of synergy there. I think it's a really good hire and really fits the CF Montreal identity.
Ollie, obviously I want you to tag in and jump in here, but let me frame your question this way, because Olivier Renard was named sporting director back in 2019. The coaching changes that have gone through Stade Saputo with Henry and Nancy last year to this year. That's 4 off the top of my head in quick succession. Now having been named a chief sporting officer and a VP in 2022, another coaching hire. Does this one have to stick for Renard as well?
Yeah, I think it does, or I think there's going to be some serious questions there, to be honest with you. I think there's a fight for kind of the perception of this club going on right now. You have a fan base which in large part is not particularly happy, not particularly content with the way things are going, accusing their club of not spending enough, not showing enough ambition. There's been some pretty bad missteps over the past couple of years as well, when you look at things like the rebrands and the jersey fiasco last season and various other issues. But then I think you have a club saying on the other side, well, actually, the spending and the model we have isn't a barrier to success. It's going to be the reason for our success. And we should be proud of how we bring through players from our academy and give opportunities to young players coming from elsewhere as well. And so I think the answer to which side is right and whether that, they can make that winning argument for the way they want to work, I think it absolutely rests in part on this coaching appointment. Because, if you go through Thierry Henry, who big name, I understand why you do it, but it didn't really work out. Wilfred Nancy.
Home run.
Led to Nancy, who was an absolute home run. That's the big success story. Losada didn't work out either that last one season. Like, if Courtois doesn't work out and you're 1-3, that's not looking like a great record, I think, for a sporting director in terms of head coaching appointments. So, yeah, I think there's big pressure for them to get this right.
Well, I don't know how much that matters, to be honest with you, because this is the club's identity right now. And you need to temper your expectations of what to expect. Like, they'll just say, well, look down the road at Toronto FC and see how many coaching hires that they've had or elsewhere across MLS.
Well,
like, this is just part of
Let's say it's probably not the best comparison, but yes.
No, but
right.
CF Montreal, considering the resources that they put in,
yes.
I think they've done well. And I think that Losada was a good manager, just wasn't the right fit in terms of personality. So those two things can be true as well. I'll cut him some slack. I'll cut him some heat in the off-field stuff that has nothing to do with the manager. So.
And in my experience, the more Laurents you have on your staff, the better. And there's two of them at CF Montreal, and that was Simon still there as well. So that can only bode well for the club.
You should be called Laurent, Simon, Thibaut Courtois.
CF Laurent. There's a CS Saint Laurent already. So maybe we're getting a little bit too close over there in La Belle Province.
Simon, Thibaut Courtois.
The biggest story, no doubt, gentlemen, while we were away in terms of worldwide reach and capture was the brilliant announcement of Tajon Buchanan to Inter Milan. He was in the squad against Monza, did not feature yet, but obviously they are giving him a tight look and lots of photos coming out of him in his new colors and a big move, Jordan. He could become the first Canadian international to feature in Serie A when he sees the field, which is obviously huge for the 24-year-old from Brampton. 5 years ago, Jordo, this guy's playing for Sigma, coming through Syracuse, the NCAA pathway. He goes to Bruges, obviously stuck with the Revs, who are enjoying a little kickback on that sail to Inter. What are your expectations for Tajon now that he is in one of the biggest leagues, one of the biggest clubs in the world?
I think my expectation is to just challenge for a spot. I think when you look at this Inter Milan side, you have Denzel Dumfries, right? Since 2021, has played probably like near getting close to 100 appearances for Inter Milan. And we're just talking about Inter Milan. Like, if we go through the past 15, 20 years of the names that have played for Inter Milan, you're throwing Tajon Buchanan with that. I think it's a huge jump. Now, I also want to say for people that think that football players like overnight just go with the rise, like Tajon has been working, right? This has now come at an opportunity where I think Inter Milan is buying low and maybe trying to sell high later on. But obviously he has more than bags of potential, and he's a player that you want within your squad. I think that he just has something you can't coach. Plays with a chip on his shoulder, has pace, can burn someone 1v1. And now what he's adding to his game as well as a wing back or right back, however you want to look at it, it's hard to beat, right? So just him playing in Italy, this is the Serie A is a league for me where everyone's coached and where to be in a position. I know that's all football, but specifically in Italy, right? I think they're, in terms of where you play and how you play, they're very scrutinized, you're very watched. So this will help him also when it comes to Canada. But for me, it's just getting in the squad. It's playing more games than you sit out. I think that's a realistic and for me an expectation to have him, because he's going to learn every day in training. There aren't his peers when he's coming into CONCACAF that are playing in Serie A or playing for Inter Milan, an established club with prestige. So for me, it's just getting in and then making the most of it when he gets there. And I believe the way he plays with that chip on his shoulder, he'll do that and he'll flourish. And then you can't really say, like, what's the next step for him? Like, he's playing already at such a high level at 24 years old.
And Garrett, do you think the transfer fee, the sell high potential for Milan, if this works out, could be massive?
Maybe. We'll see about that. Just to follow up on Jordan's point, Inter was in the Champions League final last spring and leads Serie A at this time. So this is a massive move. It's based upon two things. One is the financial constraints on Inter Milan. They've been forced to shop in a different pond and take some bigger swings like Tajon Buchanan for about $7 million. Typically, if they had the financial might that they once upon a time had, they might be looking at someone different, but this is their reality right now. They need to sell, and they'll continue to sell. So this is going to provide opportunity for Tajon Buchanan, and he fits the system to a T. In that 3-5-2 or 3-4-3 formation, like him playing on that right-hand side, that's his role. He is the modern ideal kind of prototype of a player that you want to play in that position. Dumfries is out of contract in the summer, so he's out. Darmian, plays there, is 34. Maybe not ideal for that role. He is from a defensive perspective. Cuadrado's there on loan. He's 35. I mean, these are experienced players that he can learn from. Now it's up to Tajon to prove that he can play at that level, because it comes with different expectations. Like, this is a team that's only conceded 10 goals in Serie A this season, and their strength is predicated on their defensive organization and commitment. Can Tajon play that way? Can he continue to develop his game that way? So it's going to be a big challenge. This is nothing easy. This isn't an easy move. I think it does help that the transfer fee was a little bit lower, so it doesn't come with over-the-top expectations if he's a $20, $30 million player. He's a $7 million player. And Club Brugge, a nominal, profit on the sale. It's a little bit of a curious one for me, but Tajon fits this team, this new Inter team, to a T, and we'll see where he goes from here. We wish him the best of luck.
We'll continue our chat next with our Visa Women's Soccer Report. Not going to lie, that new graphic goes like, whoa, Visa. Women's Soccer Report. And I'm going to throw it over to Oliver Platt, because today, Ollie, we want to talk about Olivia Smith, who through her first 8 starts in Portugal, 6 goals, 6 assists, and proving that maybe the full college experience into the NWSL draft isn't for everyone, because she's excelling and maybe looking at the next Chloe Lacasse.
Yeah, well, I think the interesting part of this is we've had this debate a lot about, the benefits of going to college and then NWSL, or even then to pro elsewhere, versus going to Europe and potentially sitting on the bench like Jordan Heitema did at a place like PSG. And I think what we've seen over the past couple of years now is maybe a third option opening up, which is partly because of the growth of women's soccer, particularly in Europe. There are some big clubs right now that maybe aren't quite at the level of your PSGs, your Lyons, Arsenal, Chelsea, where you can go, you can get, fantastic treatment, fantastic facilities, a great experience at a young stage in your career, but you can also play. And we're seeing it with Olivia Smith at Sporting. We saw it with Julia Grosso at Juventus, who's done tremendously well and is now attracting interest from the big clubs. And obviously we saw it with Chloe Lacasse, who got that move to Arsenal. So this, I think, could be something that becomes increasingly common, particularly with the outstanding young players like Olivia Smith that come through the Canadian system.
Well, Canadian players on the move and excelling in Europe, our Visa Women's Soccer Report. Next up, our Tony Bet top picks to end the show. I love the new animation. I'm just going to start making up segments and see if Lloyd has a new graphic ready for me. Tony Bet top picks. We have some third round replays in the FA Cup. I'm going to assign a match to each of the gentlemen. We're going to try and find an upset. Jordan Wilson, let's start with Wolves at -104 against Brentford at +290.
Yeah, that's not where the upset lies. Brentford's taking this one. Sorry, Wolverhampton Wanderers fan, but Brentford all over, all day, every day, for sure.
Good odds.
Gareth Wheeler, Bolton +185, Luton Town +145.
I like the way this Luton Town team plays. They've proved me wrong. Rob Edwards has done a job. They go away to Bolton and come away with a victory at +145. Let's cash. Let's cash here in 2024.
Oliver Platt, Bristol City +309, West Ham heavily favored -109.
It's a good one. Bristol City went to the Olympic Stadium and got a result, got the replay, coached by Liam Manning, formerly of MK Dons, as everyone will know well. And he's also West Ham alumni as well. He was a coach there. So I have to back my guy, Liam Manning, at +309. There's some great value there as well. Bristol City's a tough place to play. They've got great fans, decent-sized stadium. I think they could spring a surprise here.
West
And the
Ham
one
too
I'm going to
busy.
give you,
Not great away.
as
So
we
good
say
luck.
goodbye, I found the Welsh team in the FA Cup, Newport County plus 160 against Eastleigh. Give me the Welsh in the replay. This has been
Play
One Soccer
Manchester
Today.
United in the next round.
Are
Get
back.
spanked.
That's right. Come on, Newport County. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow.